What up, it's your boy Dvrth again with another video, and today we're here with To Your Eternity Season 2, Episode 11. Last episode was an incredible display of how much of a parent Fushi has become throughout his time extending his family, but also just how incredibly strong Fushi actually could be. We've seen a microcosm of that. Obviously Fushi's getting way better with his abilities, but dear God, if that's just small scale of what Fushi could do, Fushi could, I mean, the potential's endless. We'll say that much. Real quick, throughout this reaction discussion, I may be like sneezing or like blowing my nose or something to that effect. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. Caught a cold through last week, because my dumbass thought that it would be a great idea to wash my hair and then go outside, not knowing that it was like 32 degrees outside. So yeah, bear with me. Sorry, I'm just a little sick, but I really wanted to watch the next episode of To Your Eternity. So we're gonna power through it. So with all that being said, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you just lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more To Your Eternity or something totally different, the best place to send that in. So as my social media links going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Link's going to be in the description. We have the early reactions and the full length reactions of each episode on Patreon. We also have a Discord where we talk about anime or whatever we're watching on the channel. It's a bunch of stuff going on in the Discord. Just love to see you there. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones, make sure they're on, them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. Oh, I forgot that they're going off on like an adventure and shit to find the pot people. I completely forgot that they're going off on an adventure to find more find the pot people or whatever. But also, don't know how I forgot this, but them niggas are trying to, or at least Bone is trying to find other immortals. But the thing is that the idea of more immortals being out there has never been like a crazy thought. It's definitely something that we thought could be possible back in the beginning of the series, but now that we know that somebody's actually trying to find them, i.e. Bone, it's interesting in thinking like what exactly Bone will find, right? Like, could he find other immortals? Yeah, he could, but more likely he'll find something a little bit more similar to Fushi than exactly like Fushi. So I'm interested in seeing, now that we've introduced like the pot people like Echo and stuff like that, what exactly is going to come out of, I guess, searching for immortals. So we'll see. I mean, I'm interested. I'm very interested. Look at Echo. No, not the pot, nigga. Oh. Right. Is it like telepathically or something? Images. You don't need language. Oh yeah, I was about to say like the clay pot people? Advisor may not to expose your thoughts to the outside. Oh, stealing others' thoughts without consent is not something we can do even. What? There's a more connecting thread than I would assume, or than I originally assumed with like Knockers, Fushi, and the black thing creator. Look at my dog. He's already becoming a great king. Let's go! Fabulous Brigade! Oh, okay, Bones there. ボンシェンニコリラテイスティーピーチウラ That's tasty peaches. Man. Okay, real shit. Real shit. Ooh. You nigga? They're here for it, dog. They're here for it. Okay, who's this? Who is this? Knight that decided that they didn't want to do this. Is this part of the plan, or that's just a random knight? Ah. Oh, why are you not like in heaven or whatever the afterlife is? So is the difference between like it's pretty much like any ghost, like just unfinished unresolved business. There it is. Okay. Who the fuck? Am I supposed to know that nigga? So who the fuck are you? So what's the plan? Is the question. Good lord, those rumors spread like wildfires as soon as it even happened. Ah, the wife and kids. Chabo. He get bitches. Oh my god. That man said, I got these bitches on me. What you need? And let me show you to the OG bitch getter. He gonna tell you how to get some bitches. Nigga. Okay. Insurance. Oh, oh fuck. Oh fuck. Really? Okay. Huh. Really? So more vessels? I didn't think of it like this. But these are some real niggas. Stop playing with them. Man, watch the OG bitch get it. Oh, okay. Okay, I was about to say he was gonna want to hit. Oh. Hey, Fushi kind of speaking though. He's still young. Whoa. Holy shit. Yeah, kind of just bringing him more fodder in a way is kind of, that's kind of fucked. Fair. Fair. Boy, can you stop being bricked up for a second?
なら勝手にやる。いちいち待ってられるか。
No.
どうやってだ。
金があればなんとかなるだろう。
やめろ。
そろそろ食事時。町へ行っても迷惑になるのでは。ゲームでもしましょう。
Okay. Let's talk strategy.
俺の続きやるよ。
Ah, games are good. Strategy. Or just how getting a feel of the battlefield. If you want to learn how to get a feel for everything, you also want to get a feel of the battle. Okay, so it's their version of chess.
だと。
このゲームは早々に勝ちを取りに行こうとするとかえって良くないんですか。いえ、あなたの力で直せますかね。
いや無理だな。俺のことどこまで聞いた。
あなたに覚えてもらえれば、敵は肉体なんかいらない。
And you say that for why is it necessary?
精神と肉体どちらが支配できるか。この戦いに不滅の肉体の
It's about to be some sad shit, ain't it?
私も時々手伝っていました。ウラリス兵のための。
Oh, I thought he's about to. Oh shit! The father is a dickhead. Oh, he's a dickhead for real, bro. He's swinging, bro. Interesting. Oh shit. Oh man. Whoa. That's a demon ass move you just played. Damn. Yep. Oh, man. I realized. That story was... And you couldn't have lived that life without the flesh you were given from that. I get it. Times the body becomes a guide for the spirit. I disagree with the knockers. Even if they take my body and make me the same as them. Wow. And just like that. Wow.
エコさんはずっとあの場所を気にしていた。土器人は物の変化によく気づくそうですよ。でもだけど、まさか急に崩れ落ちるなんて。
基礎が腐ってたのかね。どうすりゃいいんだろう。
Build another one? Gonna rebuild it though? Like, we just build it on top. Oh, Boozman! Are you just gonna build it on top of it, or? Bitch, I said I'll build it back. Okay, Oniguma. So, okay, so he's just gonna demolish the whole place to ground zero and then build it. Okay. I was saying he's just gonna build it on top of it. They some real niggas, man. He made him in Gugu's house from Boozman's. Oh, fuck. Oh, this fucking show do that all the time. Oh, man. God damn it. Oh, he made Gugu and he made the house that him, Gugu, Pyoron, and Boozman lived in. Oh. Okay. Oh, fuck, man. Okay. Here's something interesting that came up this episode. So Fushi's still dealing with the idea of using people. And in this episode, we've come to an intersection with Fushi's struggle of not wanting to use people and the what he's actually going to have to do to better his chances in the battle. which is I was under the impression that Bones going out and finding other immortals, and you know, he like, oh, let's figure out if there's more like special people out there that are like you. But he is quite literally finding special people that I was about to say Gon, Fushi can use once they fall. So this is, it's okay. Here's the thing. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea, actually. If you really want a like a chance in this battle, if you want a better chance in this battle, a great idea would be to find people that would be great, that would make great vessels, right? And there's moments there's moments where like I've looked at like Perona or Liegard or March or Tanari or something like that as like, oh, they were a really good, that's a really good vessel. Like when we lost Liegard, I was like, oh damn, Liegard was like one of the most useful vessels that we had. But it's that way of thinking can easily be easily override what I would assume Fushi's way of thinking is, which is these vessels are still my friends, right? The life that Fushi lives is very precious when he becomes one of these vessels, right? When he becomes Tanari, it's very important that he keeps Tanari, right? Because that's still his friend, right? And it's not just that, it's that Tanari had a life, and using that body for anything outside of helping other people, for, you know, more selfish means, would be to Fushi a disservice to Tanari, right? So in the same breath, when Bone brings these new people who he expects Fushi to eventually use them as a vessel, we get into a very weird like I said, intersection of both these ideals, right? Which is, Fushi, you should use these people to save people, right? But Fushi doesn't want to use people, right? He doesn't want these people to be seen as pawns. What Fushi wants is quite literally for life to be preserved, right? So since he doesn't want to see these people as pawns, he wants to, as the actual episode title says, he wants to have the flesh have some value, right? He sees value in that flesh, right? And so I can definitely see, why Fushi's angry about that. I could see why Fushi is like, I can't trust Bone anymore because, you know, he's gone against my ideals, right? But at the same time, Bone has a good it's still a good idea, right? Bone has a good point too. Towards the end of that little story that the knight, what's his name, Kai, towards the end of Kai's story, Bone had a very good point, which is, and you can just bring those people back. Now, what Bone means in that situation when he's talking to Fushi is that you can become those people. In reality, what Bone also means is that he could literally bring these people back. Now when he will actually tell Fushi like, yo, this is an ability that you actually have, and him finally realizing that he has the ability to bring these people back, who knows? I would hope that it's sometime soon, though I also understand why he's not saying so. But to go to Kai's story and talk about how that relates to the theme of this episode, what I like about Kai's story, hold on. Oh my god, I hate being sick. Jesus fucking Christ, this shit sucks. What I like about Kai's story, right, is that for Kai, growing up, he probably had the same thought, if not specifically the exact same as the Knockers. He probably was thinking somewhere similar or familial in the school of the Knockers thought, right? But he goes through a very traumatic situation in his dad beating him, his grandma being sick, and all this other stuff. And then the Knockers finally attacking. He sees them almost as a savior, right? Which is what the Knockers want to be seen as. That's what they believe that they are. They are saviors of the human flesh, right? Instead of looking at the human flesh as a vessel or a mode of transportation, they see it as a cage, right? So in this part of Kai's story, he sees the Knockers as some sort of savior. Oh great, now I can die. You know, this miserable existence fucking sucks, but now I can die, right? And he almost does. The interesting part of Kai's story is where he doesn't die, right? In the moment of you know, believing that he was dead and realizing that he was alive, he sees that he was given a second chance, right? And throughout his second chance, he has a new chapter of life to live. Having to bury his grandmother, and then eventually having to bury his father, joining the Knights and all that other stuff, right? While you could get into like the specific details of, like, you know, the relationship between Kai and his father and the relationship between Kai and his grandmother and stuff like that, I think the important part, the core of this lesson, is, or at least what the show is trying to portray with this story, is the Knockers' point of view and why they're misguided, right? Simply because the Knockers are some sort of, I don't even know if you could say like transcendent being or just an otherworldly being. Just because they are doesn't mean that they are correct, right? In fact, I'll go a bit further. Just because they are doesn't mean that they aren't ignorant, which Knockers completely could be, right? By whether it's by their own ideals or whether it's by lack of circumstance, right? The Knockers could also be ignorant to those things as well. So when you have this moment where somebody was in between life and death and was granted life, and throughout living that second chapter of his life, learned that, oh shit, the Knockers' way of thinking was completely wrong, or at least my way of thinking that the Knockers were a savior was completely wrong. Instead, I was given a second life in which I was able to maybe not have the best life, you know, like I said, burying your grandmother, then eventually burying your dad and stuff like that. But in that moment of his dad, like, being able to reconcile and stuff like that, like, we don't know how exactly that conversation went, but he would not have had that if he did die, right? The idea is pretty simple, which is, you know, is fine, because you want a simple idea to have more broad conversations. But the idea that is pretty simple, that though, if you, life is not a cage, right? Life is not stagnant. It's ever changing, and as cheesy as it sounds, it can get better, right? Now it could also get worse. Don't get me wrong, but Kai would not have known that if he died. So Kai's point of view is really interesting because now he sees the body as a vessel. The body is not a cage, it's a mode of transportation for the spirit to get to a destination. I really like that thought, or I guess that thought process, or that idea, however you want to put it. I really like that thought process because, as we know, Fushi doesn't recreate souls or spirits or anything like that. Fushi simply recreates flesh, the body. And while you could see, like, from the knocker's point of view, if you want to play devil's advocate, you can see that as, well, now that somebody dies, their spirit is free to roam. That's freedom. That's real freedom, right? But if you look at it from another point of view, you can see that since Fushi only creates the body, you could infer that that's a very necessary part of this, or that's a very necessary, I don't want to say part of the soul, because that doesn't sound right. It's a very necessary, it's a necessity for the soul. I'll say it like that, right? It can be a necessity for the soul. So it's the whole Kai story was really interesting to me. I really liked that they added that, especially after the whole idea of not wanting to use people. We've talked about it before in the last discussion, but like, I believe, like, me personally, right? Like, I believe that the difference between using somebody and not is your intent. And in this situation, yes, the intent would absolutely be selfish, and you would be selfish in a way to using these people as vessels. But as Bone says, not using his abilities is about as good as not saving people, right? I think I said it like a couple episodes ago, but a couple lives, while yes, there's a lot of nuance to it, and of course you want to solve this more tactfully, and not be too, you don't want to be too broad with this, but in general, the lives of a few do not outweigh the lives of many in a lot of cases, right? In this case specifically, yeah, there are some sacrifices to be made, whether it is in actual people or in ideals, that will benefit the lives of many, way more than it'll benefit yourself and a few, yourself, your ideals, and a few other people. So I couldn't make a specific decision, right? I couldn't say that Bone's completely right or Fushi's completely right, because they both have very good points. It's just that one's more logical than the other. Does that make the other like less true? No, but it's just one's more based in logic. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way I go when it comes to, or which way I'd go when it comes to like whether Bone or Fushi's right. Honestly, I don't think that either one of them are wrong. Jesus fucking Christ. Like I said, I don't think that either one of them are wrong. I think that they both have very good points. Outside of that, the characters themselves seem pretty cool. We haven't seen like we've seen kind of like their uses and stuff like that, but we haven't seen them on the battlefield, and we haven't seen like a very clear cut, oh, that guy's good at this guy's good at this, right? Which in a way is also kind of sucky, because it's me looking at them more as a vessel than people, but let's be real, that's the idea. So we don't exactly know what they're all about, what their uses would be. I will say that the Kai, he seems a little bit more and this is only me saying this because he was playing like their equivalent of chess. He seems more strategic. He probably has a better feel for the battle, and the others are a bit of a mystery to me. I mean, I know one's like the OG bitch getter, but the other ones seem to be more of a mystery to me. For now, we know Kai. He seems to be more strategic and like very, very good with the field of battle. Which I will say, another layer that we have on the whole Kai story is the idea of teaching Fushi that game, because while yes, Fushi, his abilities will have him be everywhere, almost omnipotent in a battle, it won't do him much good if he does not actually have a feel for that battle, if he doesn't know how to move his pieces in order to get the best results out of his abilities, right? So there's also that layer working with the show with Kai's story. So I really like that. But one more thing on Kai's story, and then I'll stop gawking his fucking cock. How it ended, right? I do like how the progression of the story matched the progression of the game, even though we didn't really see the game outside of the very end. Both of their progression was matched to where at the end it was Kai's checkmate and Bones bringing one of his pieces back and saying, but you can bring one back, right? Really like the progression of both. That's, is it that important? No, not really, but it's just a detail that I liked when I saw it, because it's one of those storytelling details that I can't help but love. There's something to be said about this is about to sound like a JoJo episode. There's something to be said about heaven in this episode, right? A very interesting point was brought up by Bone when he was talking to his ghost friends or whatever. In this one, this isn't like a super big revelation. This is more just like a reason for why things are. But Bone asking his ghost buddies or whatever, like, why aren't y'all in it? Like, why haven't y'all passed on, basically? And their response is pretty simple. It's just, we didn't feel like we needed to. Like, we just didn't. We felt like we had more to do on this earth, so we never passed on. Which, as I said during the episode, basically tells me that passing on is a consensual thing. It has to be a consensual thing. Like, the spirit has to go, oh yeah, I'll go to heaven, or I'll go to Nirvana, or whatever. It's cool. I'll dip off. Whereas if they decide against it, they can still wander. So these lives they don't have to be complete, but these spirits have to feel like their life was complete. So now that gives us a reason for why March, Tanari, Gugu, Boozman, and all these, well, not Boozman, because we don't see Boozman, but why March, Tanari, Leegard, what's his name, Gugu, who else is there? Oniguma, everybody, right? That's why that group is still there, because they still feel like they have such a bond with Fushi, or they have such an interest in Fushi that they feel like they have more of a reason to be on Earth than they have a reason to be in heaven or whatever, right? So really quick, that was a really quick thing that they had going on in this episode, but it was really interesting to hear the ghost perspective on why they didn't pass on. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I'm trying to find and remember what it was. Oh, Fushi's attitude, right? And which was pointed out in this episode that Fushi had a bit of an attitude. Now here's the thing. Fushi is simply angry, right? Like he's upset at Bond for his plan being so unethical in Fushi's eyes, right? But Fushi time and time again the more Fushi learns, I should say, the more Fushi learns, the more he seems to resemble having like the same attitude, the same attitude of like apathy or something like that the creator has. And in this episode, learning about how the pot people, the knockers kind of learn or kind of communicate with images the same way that the pot people communicate with their pots in images and stuff like that, tells me one of two things, right? It maybe not one of two things, maybe it could be all of these things, right? One, that is communicating with imagery is a base form of linguistics, right? Is that when all other language is gone, communication, the most primitive, and I mean the most primitive way of communicating is images, right? If you look like far down the line of history, images have always been used to communicate different ideas and words or things or whatever, right? Images have always been that base form of communication. So when you don't have like something to draw or something to write on, whatever, imaging is simply, whether it's telepathically or whatever, imaging is the base form of linguistics. The second thing is that if it's not that, it's that Fushi, the creator, and the knockers have a lot more, and maybe even the pot people have a lot more in common than I originally thought. There have been multiple, and I've been sitting here trying my hardest to like figure out why, like what there's something so weird about that trio or quartet of like people, right? The pot people, Fushi, the creator, and the knockers. There's something very weird about those people, that I feel like there's a missing link here. Whether like I said, there's multiple theories running through my mind, and I if I went through all of them and why I thought that it was possible for the theories, this video would be way too long. But I will say that there are copious amounts of reasons for why I'm feeling this. I will say that one of my most recent running theories is that there is a possibility that while there are multiple Fushis, or at least people or entities like Fushi could probably be the latest iteration, and the creator is the older iteration. I say this because when in this episode we have more connecting threads, which is the idea that stealing thoughts, like the unconsensual stealing of somebody's thoughts, is like is like a no-no. Like that's just not what you do, right? Which is interesting because the creator said something that was kind of the same, right, as Fushi pointed out. Whether that's more connecting threads, but between like who the creator used to be or who the creator is, or how the creator is connected to Fushi or the Knockers or the pot people or whatever. What I'll say is that the mystery behind the creators and the Knockers and the pot people is probably some of the more interesting things happening in this show right now. Everything else is really cool too, but I'm dying to get more on the mystery, at least the pot people. I feel like if we can figure out what the pot people either are or were, I would have more clues. But I just say that all to say that like the mystery behind Fushi is really interesting to me. Of course, it's very ethereal. It's very like beyond any real person's like thought process or you know, experience. But I'm interested in seeing at least if they do something with that plot line, if it's a plot line at all. So really good episode. Did a really good job of building onto my intrigue of what exactly is first of all what's on the horizon, which is war, an all-out battle, but also what the fuck is going on with Fushi, the pot people, and the Knockers and the creator. Like what there's something there. I'm just not seeing it yet. That's going to eat at me for all week pretty much. That's just how these shows go, is that when they have like something really interesting, it just I go to sleep thinking of it. So yeah, really interesting episode. Really enjoy Kai specifically. We haven't got too much characterization other than like the other guy's a dickhead and he's an OG bitch getter or something like that. But hoping to get more characterization for those two as well outside of Kai. But yeah, love Kai. He seems like a pretty cool dude. And really enjoying the mystery of Fushi kind of becoming deeper and deeper. But also really enjoying the development of Fushi. He's an attitude is a lot, right? Like him getting an attitude with somebody is a lot. So really enjoying that as well. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more to your eternity or something totally different, the best place to send that in. As always, my social media links going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early, subscribe to my Patreon. Links going to be in the description for that as well. We also have a Discord if you want to join that and talk more to your eternity or anything else that we're watching on the channel. Shit's fun out there. So with all that being said, let me get my off button ready. Where is that at? There it is. You all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.